Playbook for Performance, the official podcast of Shauna Corden, the Joan of Arc for corporate healing and performance. Join the quest to make work fun again by preparing leadership for engaging workplaces. And now, your host.
Hello and welcome everybody to another edition of the Playbook for Performance podcast. I'm your host, Shauna Corden, and my mission is to make work fun again by building better leaders. So for 20 weeks, we're going to be addressing a challenge that builds your resilience. And resilience helps us bend in a storm instead of break. And we are all facing storms of different sorts, whether it be an illness, whether it be travel, whether it be pressures at work or tough challenges. We want to be able to handle those with grace and confidence. And so we're tackling 20 lessons that will help you build that resilience and help you address change in a more productive way. So this week we're talking about getting your needs met. Well, that might sound a little prima donna, but I assure you we all have needs. It's perfectly normal to have needs. You're probably familiar from your social studies or your psychology studies in school with Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And it wasn't depicted as a pyramid until much later after he had created it, but the pyramid is arranged in the order of the way that we can live without some of these needs for the shortest period of time. So at the bottom is air. We can live without air for about 3 minutes. Then there's water. We can live without water for about 3 days. Then there's food. We can live without food for about 3 weeks. And shelter's in there depending on if you're in Hawaii or if you're in the Arctic. But all the way at the top of the pyramid is something called self-actualization, which means we've recognized our purpose in life and we're helping others fulfill theirs. But in between air, water, food, shelter, and some other things and self-actualization, we've actually got these personal needs. And these are the things that help us be the best version of ourselves. And a lot of people resist the idea of having needs, but needs are actually central to who we are. So when do I bring this up with a client? Well, I bring it up when I hear them use language when they're blaming other people, when they recognize they're not operating as the best version of themselves, if they're noticing other people's happiness or satisfaction and they're doing some comparing. And we all know comparison is the thief of joy, or resentment. So what is it that you need to fulfill in order to be the best version of yourself that's a need? And it's really important that we do not depend on other people to get these needs met. Okay? We need to fill them ourselves. And so instead of complaining about something you're not getting from your family members, your partner, your boss, we need to ask for those things. Turn those complaints into a request and figure out a system of getting those needs met in the same way that we'd have an automatic sprinkler system, water the lawn to keep the grass healthy or our plants healthy. We need the same thing for ourselves. We need to have a system. It might be how our calendar is created. It might be the appointments we keep. Some really good examples would be to have your yearly checkup and exams with your physician. Depending on your gender, you might have to have your mammograms or prostate exams or anything like that. Flu shots, that might be another way that you're keeping your health going, and that's kind of the sprinkler system to keep your health up to date. So when we have a need that's not being met, it actually dominates our life. So you probably are familiar with those Snickers commercials where someone gets hangry, the combination of hungry and angry, and they start acting out and they're like a diva until they have that hunger satisfied and then they're back to their normal selves. That's a little bit what it's like when our needs are not met. And everybody's needs are a little bit different. There is a great assessment that you can ask for in the comments that we'll send you. It's a little bit of a checklist where you compare all of these suggested needs to one another, and then you decide what you really need to be the best version of yourself. A couple of examples from my personal needs that might be kind of interesting is clarity. Like, I will tread water until I feel like I've got a goal to go towards. And it's frustrating. A lot of people can operate in ambiguity and just keep going with the processes. I'm like, I'm not going to waste any effort. I'm staying here till it's clear. So that's one of my needs. Another one is do the right thing. And this can be very simple things like picking up trash that I see, or putting one of the grocery carts into the corral so it doesn't dent someone's car, even if it's not my cart. I want to offer to help when help is needed, and it will literally drive me crazy all day if I pass up an opportunity to do something like that. So those are a couple of my examples. Another one is beauty. And so if I have the choice between like your standard gray stainless stapler and gold, I'm going to go for the gold every time, because I think that office supplies should be fun, and that's a reflection of my need for beauty. So I encourage you, if you want to take this assessment, we call it the Needs Less program. Just drop a note. We'll be happy to email that out to you. But don't be afraid of these needs. Everybody has them. They do make us the best version of ourselves. And so honor that. Take care of that. Something I want to share. One of my colleagues, whose name is just below my picture here. Let me move that. Seamus here at useyouredge.com has developed what I think is an amazing coaching tool. I've got to experience this tool myself. It's called the Compass Coaching Model, and it introduces coaches to this model in the coaching conversation that incorporates some of the feeling in our body, some visualization, things like that, that I think are really amazing in terms of the results that you get and the tangible next steps. And he's going to be running this course for 4 Mondays in January, starting the 9th. And there are continuing ed credits available for coaches. And I think I can't recommend it enough. I think it's a great program. And Seamus is a great teacher. He's very dedicated to just the teaching process and making sure people know how to learn. So I wanted to promote that, since that is something that you can take advantage of. And I know a lot of coaches follow the podcast, and it's coming right around the corner. So wanted to put that out there. Finally, don't forget that you can ask a question of us. We would be thrilled to help you with your resilience needs. If you'd like to bring this program into your organization to build employee resilience, that's a strong possibility. We've taught this class a zillion times for that very purpose, because we know that the success in change depends on 3 things. It depends on leadership, it depends on communication, and employee resilience. And when those 3 things are done poorly or don't exist, the change effort will fail. And all of us are going through change on a regular and constant basis. So do send us a note at podcast@shawnacorden.com, or you can always email at shauna@shawnacorden.com to book a meeting with me to discuss building your employee resilience. So until then, take good care, and we'll see you in the new year.
Thank you for listening to Playbook for Performance. To learn more about Shauna Corden, her consulting programs and tools, please visit her website at shawnacorden.com and follow us on social media at Shauna Corden.